welcome back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek. Joining me as always is Mikey the Freak.
What's up?
And Bebo.
Bebo.
Today we are going to be talking about the 1981 movie, The Evil Dead. Bebo, why don't you tell us a little bit about this?
It's very simple. Basically, it's five friends travel to a cabin in the woods where they unknowingly release basically flesh-possessing demons. It is very much your cynical, just B movie horror shitty film.
B is very.
It is B
generous.
because Bruce Campbell's in it, and Bruce Campbell is the B movie king.
Okay,
well, that's what he's known as.
He's the BC, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
But this is the movie that kind of started the cult for this franchise. There are technically three movies. There's The Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and then the sequel to that one, which is The Army of Darkness, which is the one most people reference. The first two were supposed to be made kind of on a serious, trying to be like a serious horror flick, whereas by the time it got to Army of Darkness, they just went ahead and said fuck it, and it became a comedy.
Exactly.
Fuck it. Now we have the TV show Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yes.
Which I've watched a little bit of, and Bruce Campbell has no problem going right back to playing Ash.
Yeah. He does a good job playing that character.
Yeah, it's basically a bunch of friends. They get a cabin cheap up in the woods. They get up there and they find a recording down in the basement, and everything's very airy around there. On this recording is a guy talking about a book he found that's like made out of human flesh and stuff. And he's reciting a passage from it, which basically is summoning the demons, and because the kids are listening to it on speaker, it kind of just says it out loud. So the demons raise up and stuff. And then it's just a nightmare of bad acting after that.
A lot of
wow, that sounds, I don't mean to stop you, Brian, but I was just thinking about that. That sounds awfully like Cabin in the Woods. Like, did Cabin in the Woods get it off of The Evil Dead?
I think so, because Cabin in the Woods, when they went to that cabin, there were different things that they could have awakened.
Yeah.
Same premise, just a different
same premise. It's just a little different. But yeah, there's been a lot of things that have kind of ventured from this.
So this movie is kind of like the base of a lot of horror movies. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
The whole
I like
Cabin
that.
in the Woods shit. Yeah, so
that's cool.
Without this shitty movie, those others wouldn't exist.
Yes, absolutely.
It's paved the way for all kinds of shitty movies.
I was going that way with that.
If it wasn't for this shitty movie, none of these other shitty movies would have existed, people. Okay, so show some reverence. But no, I chose this movie just because I'm a big Bruce Campbell fan. I've always liked him as an actor. The Bearded Geek over here only knows him as Sam X or X from Burn Notice, which he was great in that.
Bunch of bitchy little girls.
Yes. For those that don't know him, the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he is actually the one who comes up with the name Spider-Man.
Yes.
In the ring when he's wrestling that first time. So, and Bruce Campbell, I think, was in the rest of them because him and Sam Raimi, who's the director, friends since, they were teenagers, I think. And he's been in a lot of stuff with him. Bruce Campbell was played a couple different roles in the Hercules TV show with Kevin Sorbo.
I didn't write that down. That's good.
Yeah, because that was also Sam Raimi who did a lot of that. So it was just, it's not, how can I put this? It's not the greatest of movies.
To put it lightly.
To put it lightly.
Very fucking lightly.
To put it very politely.
But
Yeah.
if you know, our premise here is we like to do the originals. We don't do sequels and stuff like that on the Back to the Retro review. Had we done sequels, I of course would have just picked Army of Darkness. That's the sequential one of the films that you actually want to watch. But this was a good build-in. I love Bruce Campbell. So from there, I'm gonna let you guys, starting with the Bearded Geek, give your opinions on this movie.
Well, this movie was straight trash. I did not like
straight garbage.
I did not like the way this movie was filmed. I did not like the special effects used. I didn't care for the acting.
What special effects?
The fog machine. That's really about it. Oh, and they had
and it worked perfectly, sir.
Yeah, it worked.
There was
perfectly.
fog everywhere. There was so much fog you couldn't see.
The special effect of the tree raping a girl.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yes.
Oh my god.
How do you have?
I'm like, did that tree just fuck that bitch? Oh my god.
Yes,
that tree just fucked that woman.
He just
Holy
raped her,
shit.
stripped her, titty popped out, and everything. It was okay. That part was good.
I like the titties. Titties were good.
I mean,
titties were good.
The only saving grace, a titty popped out.
Yeah, titty pop.
In theaters now.
I mean, she got some good wood apparently. I guess.
Oh, dad joke.
Boom, yes. Yeah, but other than that, this movie. I mean, even when they were demons, they had this one demon sitting on the ground, and the Ash is like looking at her like, "Whatever, you're just there." And I'm like, dude, I'd be freaking the F out, man.
Yeah.
How are you this calm? And you're supposed to be the scaredy cat of the group anyway. And you're this calm with this demon sitting on the ground, just taunting you. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, but you got to show some respect because you could tell this was a B movie because the demonized face, you could tell was fucking oatmeal.
Yeah.
It just looked like dried up oatmeal that, like, when they got done acting, they'd just be like,
yeah. We're watching this, and my wife's like, her prosthetic is coming off. It's not, I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
that's not prosthetic. That was her breakfast.
Yeah, that's her breakfast. But it was not a good. It just wasn't good.
Makeup.
I mean, we normally don't do horror movies at all, but you know, this one was chosen because of Bruce Campbell. And it probably shouldn't have been, but so Mikey the Freak. So Mikey the Freak, what'd you think of this?
Straight garbage. The cool thing about this, and it's not really, I guess it's cool. You know, Bruce Campbell itself, like Bebo said, it was picked because of Bruce Campbell, and Bruce Campbell was a huge staple in the '80s. Mm-hmm. Horror type movies with Evil Dead 2 and the Army of Darkness, and I do recommend the Army of Darkness more than Evil Dead 1 and 2. You know, we've actually done at Halloween Horror Nights, we did the Evil Dead did a haunted house a couple years ago, and it was actually very good.
Yeah,
the haunted house was very good. So which made me want to watch a couple of those movies. So that I would say is. I couldn't remember this one. I don't think I watched it after the haunted house. I did watch Army of Darkness, but yeah, this one I'm like, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't remember this. Yeah, but just you know, we talk about, you know, the makeup. It's just cheesy makeup, very low budget. You can tell it's a very low budget movie. Yeah, the rape scene that the forest rapes the girl, I thought that was a little bit overboard. But again, it's a horror movie. It's that you know, that's what you see in movies. You don't expect that. Yeah. It was that's fucking big. And through but then it seemed like she started to like it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
It was like no.
Lie to me, Pinocchio. Lie to me, Pinocchio.
lie. Yeah. So I did notice that. I'm like, oh yeah, she's raping. What the hell? Wait a minute. She likes it now. Okay. And then she runs away scared. So, yeah, the way it was filmed was, you know, I got like, you almost can get dizzy watching it. because I guess it's the fog or the stuff that's chasing them.
The first person view, yeah.
Yeah, that first person. I don't like that. And then they switch back and forth when they're driving, and you kind of see it back and forth. It's just drives me crazy. I didn't really like that part, but yeah, I'd recommend watching something completely different. It's not a horror movie that it would be scary. It definitely wasn't scary. It wasn't intense.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't on the edge of your seat. It didn't really have much, fun or comedic areas other than Bruce Campbell kind of like, oh yeah, what the fuck, whatever. I'd be freaking the fuck out too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially seeing something like that. But I mean that was the basically view of the whole movie. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone ever.
Yeah, no, and for those of y'all who like want to watch like the ones that we suggested, which would be Army of Darkness, and you're like, well, shouldn't I watch Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 before that? Here's the synopsis. Recorder played, flesh, taking over zombie type demons come out, kill everybody besides Ash, who's the only one who makes it. In the second one, he starts getting the evil in his hand, chops off his hand, which is why in Army of Darkness, he's only got one hand, and you're good to go.
There you go. I was wondering,
leave the bad acting and shit over here. Okay, go enjoy this movie.
I was wondering where the hand came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the second one, towards the end, it starts like creeping into his skin, so he sits there and he basically chops off his own hand.
And then he makes a chainsaw hand.
Chainsaw hand. Yeah.
And he has his boomstick.
Yes.
Which is
keep in mind, none of this is in the movie that we just
reviewed. It's in this one.
Yeah.
Yes, if you want this one, if you simply want to stick to the Evil Dead, shitting acting, really bad fake blood, oatmeal on face. Nobody really knows how to act at all.
Correct.
Not even the fog.
All right.
The fog was fired after this movie.
Yeah. Never worked in this fucking town again.
The ratings.
Ratings. Let's start with Mikey.
Wow. I can't go any lower than a 0. So it is just as bad as Mac and Me.
Okay. First off, you take that back.
Yeah.
I'm not,
nothing can be bad as bad as Mac and Me.
I am not taking it back. I could not finish the movie. I finished Mac and Me. I did not finish The Evil Dead.
So you don't know how it ended.
I could care fucking less. I don't give a shit how it ended. I'm giving it a 0 just because I lost interest. Like I said, I like Bruce Campbell. I haven't seen tons of his shows or movies, but I know of him. But not a huge fan of Bruce Campbell. Apologize, Bevo. But I lost interest. I didn't even watch the ending. I think I made it to halfway in the movie, to where I'm like, I'm never turning this back on again. I have to give it a 0. If I could give it a negative, I would, but at least it's a 0 because I like horror, so I like the horror aspect of the movie. But I just didn't like this particular one, so I'm giving it a 0. Okay. I've got to.
All right. I'll start. I'll go next. I don't think it was as bad as Mac and Me. Mac and Me is. I did finish this movie. The Evil Dead is straight trash, regardless.
Wonky trash. Yeah, wonky trash.
I'll give it a 1, and it only gets bumped up to a 1 because it had a titty.
Oh, I'll give it a 1. I take it back. I'll take it a 1.
Okay.
A 1. I'll take 1. That titty. I like titty.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, and Mac and Me is still the lowest.
Yes. Just because of that, thank you, the Bearded Geek. Just because it did show titty, and it did have a little bit of sexual wood, huge wood. I would give it a 1. I'll take the 1. I'm good with that.
You'll take the 1. Okay.
I'll take just the 1.
It gets 1 for me. I'm not gonna recommend this to anybody. It's just I'm not into horror to begin with. I'm not a huge horror guy. I do like going to Halloween Horror Nights and stuff like that, but I'm not a huge horror guy in general.
No, trust me, you're a whore.
You're a horror guy.
Yeah,
He's a horror guy.
Just a 1. Bebo, what would you rate it?
For the movie itself, I love Bruce Campbell as an actor, and this is what sort of, in my opinion, basically launched his career. He did do stuff before this. It's not stuff you really know of. This is what kind of launched his career into becoming the B, movie king, basically, is what he's called. But let's face it. I mean, even for a horror flick, and as much, I mean, to me, it was more of a comedy because I kind of laughed watching this, seeing how bad the acting was, how bad the zombie or demon possessed people were and stuff. It was just really horrible. I'm going to give it a little higher than a 1. I'm going to give it a 2 just because of Bruce Campbell.
Okay.
And a titty.
Titty and Campbell.
Yeah, it would have been a 3, but the wood was bigger than mine. So no.
I love it. I love it. That's hilarious.
But no, I'll give it a 2. It really is a horrible movie. But if I was going to pick a Bruce Campbell movie for his first movie, I'd want to use this one that started his career path. But
yeah.
So now that we've rated it, I do have some trivia on it.
Okay.
I won't go into a lot of this stuff. One thing I thought was kind of cool is at the end of Principal's shooting, which all of this took place in an actual real life abandoned cabin, which is in Tennessee, or was in Tennessee. The crew put together like a little time capsule package and buried it inside the fireplace of the cabin as like a memento of the production to whoever found it. The cabin has since been destroyed and only the fireplace is actually still intact. So whether or not it's there, I don't know. Here's how bad the fake blood was in this movie. The blood is a combination of Caro syrup, non-dairy creamer, and red food coloring. At one point, Bruce Campbell's shirt that he wears in the film was so saturated with the fake blood that after drying it by the fireplace, the shirt became solidified and broke when he tried to put it back on.
Oh, wow.
This tells you kind of how a stand-up dude Bruce Campbell is. Director Sam Raimi said that Bruce Campbell, they were friends since high school and stuff, but he put up his family's property in northern Michigan as collateral. So Sam Raimi not only could finish the film, but also blow it up to 35 millimeter film, which was required for like a theatrical release. And Raimi was so grateful for, the financial contribution that he gave. He actually credited him as a co-producer for the film.
Oh, cool.
And then one thing that I didn't even know that happened on this movie is one of the cameramen slipped during filming, smashing his camera into Bruce Campbell's face, knocking out several of his teeth.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
But that's just a few things. There's a lot of kind of just wonky shit throughout the stuff, but that's pretty much a good
wonky shit.
Wonky shit. I got some retro movie memorabilia here. You could get a DVD, the original Evil Dead Book of the Dead edition, which it's
for free at any local trash bin.
No, for $68.87. The DVD cover actually looks like the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead with the skin and stuff. So that's pretty cool for a DVD.
Cool. That's actually what Sam Raimi wanted the title of the movie to be called, was The Book of the Dead. But I forgot who it was, one of the producers or something like that, changed it and made it The Evil Dead.
You could get the Evil Dead Sam Raimi Japanese original vintage laser disc. Laser. For $79.90.
Why the fuck did you just turn into Wally?
Wally.
What
the hell is that shit?
I don't know why.
I don't know. He just took E.T. and fucking Johnny Five from Short Circuit and melded those two characters into one and went laser.
There's a movie out there where somebody says laser that way, and it just sticks in my head every time I hear the word laser. I don't even remember the movie.
Because it doesn't fucking exist.
It probably don't. Maybe I made it up. I don't know. You could get the Evil Dead Betamax video.
Beta.
Betamax.
Beta.
For $400, you could get the Betamax The Evil Dead. All right, Mikey the Freak, give us some related reels, man.
That's a waste of money. All right. I picked two characters. First, your main character, basically, Bruce Campbell, main actor. As you can see, your related review would be Army of Darkness. We talked about it earlier in this broadcast. But the ones you kind of want to, it's kind of funny, but the ones you really want to watch him in, he was an extra, or I say a cameo in the show Psych, which is one that we've talked about a while back. He was a Dr. Ashton. Uses the same type name as he does with Ash and the Evil Dead. And then Burn Notice.
Burn Notice.
Which was what his name? What was his name?
Sam Axe.
Sam Axe. And he used an axe in this movie to kill pretty much everything.
Yes.
So kind of still stays with that relation with Ash, in his Evil Dead shows and his movies, I mean. But a lot of those are kind of fun play on words, fun characters, and they kind of relate him to that way. So that's always cool. But so the next one is Sam Raimi, which Sam Raimi was the director of this movie. He also has gone on to direct two movies that I like that you should watch. Of course, Spider-Man 1 and 2. He did the first two Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. But Hudsucker Proxy, if you guys haven't seen the Hudsucker Proxy, it's a good movie too. With my mind just went blank. Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins. Okay, yeah.
So very good movie. Something to watch as well. So Sam Raimi did a lot of acting or directing, not really as much acting as he did. So those would be two movies I would recommend for this director.
Awesome. Well, I do believe that does it for this episode of Back to the Retro Review. So for Mikey the Freak and Bebo, I am the Bearded Geek, and keep it retro, everybody.
Yeah.
Give us a good thumbing.
Yes, give us a good thumbing. All that good stuff YouTubers tell you to do.
Make
subscribe,
sure to like, comment,
subscribe, and all that stuff.
Yay!
Keep it retro.